This unit is inspired by the paintings of Jose Manuel Ballaster. He did a series in the early 2000s where he would take famous paintings and paint out the figures. So here we have the Birth of Venus, or we have the Last Supper. And these gained some acclaim during the pandemic because people were not able to go out, and the paintings have this haunting sort of quality about them that reminded people of the pandemic, even though he painted them years before. This becomes a good opportunity to explore color theory and color mixing and matching our colors in a way that isn't as boring as making a color wheel or trying to just match colors. So we're going to do this, but instead of doing classical paintings, we're going to do baseball cards or football cards or whatever sports cards that we can find. And the first step is to white out just the player, leave the logo, and we need to make sure that there's some kind of a background in the card. We're going to start out with our primary colors, whatever ones you would like to work with, and we white out the player with either liquid whiteout, or you can use gesso, which works just as well. And then the idea is, once you've given this a couple of coats of whiteout and the player is white, you're going to get rid of the player by painting in the colors of the background. So I need to match this green in here, match this tan in here across the legs, and match that blue across the top of the body as best I can. And I have my colors over here, and I can mix and have a little piece of paper to work as a palette. So I'm going to give this an attempt, and I'm going to speed up the film because I don't want to bore you. I like to do this with 4 cards. So while you're whiting out one, the other ones are drying, and then you can go back, give it 2 coats. And then out of the 4, you can pick the best one to exhibit, or you can exhibit all 4. So I'm going to give this a try and show you my process in a speeded up version. Well, that was a lot harder than it looks. You saw me really struggling to get a green that I thought was close, and I kept having to go back and add red to my green to kind of gray it out, give it a bit of a chromatic gray tint. But I think overall I've done okay in color matching. You could see that another card might be even more challenging when we have a crowd, but because it's all blurry, you can just match find a color here and kind of blob it around the figure. Matching this gray and the blue shouldn't be too difficult, but kind of figuring out the grays, these fuzzy areas, will be kind of interesting. It's pretty forgiving when you have a blurry background because we don't know what's there, and as long as it sort of emulates that same texture, it's still going to work. So go ahead and give this a try. See if you can work on your color matching skills, a little bit of your and then when you're working with the brush, make sure you clean it really well, particularly the collar of the brush. The paint will want to stick in there, so you're going to have to use your fingers underwater to clean that up really well.